We are breaking in here to bring you live updates of these fires we've been covering for the last couple of days.
Yeah, these fires burning in our area up the coast and then down here in the south. The Whittier fire burning along Highway 154 in the Lake Cachuma area. CAL FIRE estimating 7,800 acres now have burned since the fire started yesterday afternoon. That is an update as of 7 this morning. Fire now 5% contained. Firefighters from the U.S. Forest Service, Santa Barbara County Fire, and many other local agencies are responding. We're going to go now to News Channel 3 senior reporter John Palmentary. He is live with the latest on the Whittier fire.
John, you've been at Cachuma all day.
This is our first chance to get a close-up look at this fire since the flames and smoke roared through this area yesterday. We have relocated from our reports earlier this morning on Highway 154, which remains closed in both directions, to the Cachuma Lake Campground. And let's take a look at this portion of it. This would be on the eastern side of the campground. You can see some piles of wood or debris or some of the campground here still burning. This looks like a pile that might have been something related to maybe a chipping pile or something like that. But as we went through some of the campground, there were also some picnic tables, abandoned campsites, and the signs of a very quick evacuation by the campers that were here at Cachuma Lake. And you can just see how scorched this eastern side of the campground is. We don't know the full extent. We know a lot of areas were untouched, and this is generally in the area where the fire started across the road at Camp Whittier, and that's how it gets the name the Whittier fire. We were in there early this morning, and let's see if we can take a look at what we saw when we went into the Camp Whittier area. We understand the vehicle fire that started the vegetation fire was in there, but there are a lot of downed trees that are still on fire or smoldering there, very unsafe to continue down some of the roads. We did see some of the staff housing and maintenance type sheds that were burned to the ground, open gas lines that were flaming up, and a lot of fire that was still smoldering in place. A lot of work to get in there and get that completely cooled down and sprayed with water. And there's an army of firefighters that are going to be working on that throughout the day. And then on Highway 154, we saw the SUV from the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Department that caught on fire. We believe that might have been a mechanical fire before it was involved in the brush fire. And then in front of that was a civilian vehicle, a Jeep, that burned up. And they're very close to each other, which indicates just the explosive and very hot fire that went through that area. I'm just certain that what was going on there is probably the scariest moments they have had, because there was zero visibility, fire on both sides of the road, really no clue as to which way to go, and then vehicles were burning up, so they had to be evacuated out of that area. Nearby, the kids that were in the camp, we have the Circle V camp and the Camp Whittier. They were some sheltered in place first, and then they were evacuated with buses that were sent in from the San Ynez Band of Chumash Indians nearby down at their casino. When it was a go time or clear to go, they got those buses up here, got the kids out, and reunited with their parents. They are safe. Nobody got hurt. A very well-organized evacuation, which included sheltering in place. That's never very comfortable when you're in the middle of this very volatile fire. So for today, we have cooler skies, some clearing, and also the temperatures are going to come down quite a bit. Good day for firefighting, and there's going to be an aggressive attack on the front country as it's crested over Broadcast Peak and West Camino Cielo, and it's kind of in the brush there as we understand it. It's hard to get a handle on exactly what's going to happen on the front end just yet at this hour, but there's going to be a lot of firefighting up there from the aircraft and the helicopters to try and keep that from getting its way down into populated areas. One more note on West Camino Cielo in the Rosario Park area and some of the homes up there, they were witnessing flame links over by the Gun Club or Lizard's Mouth, that direction, of up to 400 feet in length last night. Eyewitnesses there said that it was extremely active at night, but now things have calmed down and the firefighters hope to get the upper hand with these conditions today. That's the very latest from the Cachuma Lake Campground near the point of origin of the Whittier fire. I'm John Palmentary.
Okay, and here's a look at exactly where the Whittier fire is burning. You can see how close the fire is to Lake Cachuma, burning up off the 154.
We're going to live pictures now from the Whittier fire. This is high above on the San Ynez Peak. It's actually affecting our transmitter as well, which is up in this area. So if you watch KUIT over the air, maybe you're live streaming us right now on the website, you can't get us over the air because our transmitter has been affected by this. The fire was up there. Wow. And you can see the smoke billowing up into the air as the sun is now out here at 9:05, and we're getting a good look at what the fire is doing up on that ridge. And the Sheriff's Department lost a patrol vehicle in the Whittier fire. It was parked along Highway 154 yesterday. The deputy thankfully got out, wasn't injured, but you can see these photos from Santa Barbara County Fire, just how dangerous that could have been. That was where John was earlier with that Jeep as well that was burnt out. So at least 2 vehicles have been lost in these fires. And we're going to check in with Kelsey Gerkins now, who is following the fire from the First Alert Weather Center.
Yeah, Kelsey, I mean, you're the person that firefighters and people traveling through that area are going to look to for information about the conditions out there.
Stacey and Joe, the good news is this morning, right between 6 to around 8 a.m., we actually got a little bit of rain. Some areas a little bit heavier than others, and it did fall right where the Whittier fire is. If you take a look right when this reaches right around 6 a.m., take a look. It runs through that area. A good amount of rain hit the Whittier fire this morning. Now, current conditions, they just checked in there. It's around 79 degrees. Winds are staying calm, around 2 miles per hour. We have clocked it a gust of wind around 11 miles per hour, but still relatively very calm. Humidity right now at 47%. Now, this is for the Whittier fire burning near Lake Kachuma. Again, we're tracking several fires here, and we expect the Whittier fire, we expect the winds to increase to around 20 miles per hour, gusts getting up to 25 miles per hour. Humidity should start decreasing within the next couple of hours, getting to a low around 20% in the afternoon, and that is when temps will be right in the 90s when it's very warm out there, and that's when that fire becomes a little bit more difficult to fight. Now, the second fire that we're tracking is the Alamo fire, and the Alamo fire is right there on the Santa Maria area, and you take a look there, it's right now 81 degrees off of the 166 Tempest-Gay Road. 11 miles per hour, those wind gusts. Humidity there already at 22%, so quite a bit warmer for the Alamo fire. Again, humidity already very dry at this time. I'm going to have a better look at this full forecast. Again, tracking every current condition for these fires in just a moment, but for now, back to you.
All right, Kelsey, thank you. We have continuing coverage of the Alamo fire as well. Let's give you the very latest on that. We have new numbers on how much is actually burned out there. This fire broke out on Thursday along the 166 near the Twitchell Reservoir, raging out of control. It is now more than 23,000 acres as of this morning. The blaze is 10% contained. There's about 1,000 fire personnel actively fighting it, and resources have been ordered in. Joining us on the phone now with CAL FIRE, working the Alamo fire, is Chris Elms. Chris, thanks for getting up with us this morning. What new information do you have about this blaze? And it seems like over the last 2 days, it's really exploded.
Yeah, good morning. So this morning we're just below 24,000 acres, which is a little change from yesterday. We didn't see quite the fire growth last night. I think we had a little humidity recovery last night that helped, but we are expecting to see those higher temperatures again today with lower humidities and a little increase in the wind. So there's still plenty of potential out there for this fire to grow. We are about 10% contained, so we still have a lot of work to do as far as containment goes.
And speaking about containment, what is the plan of attack right now since it has exploded and it seems to be moving in several different directions?
So the main part of this fire is moving towards the east of Tempest-Gay Canyon. Right now it's holding to the area of Tempest-Gay Canyon. The concern is that it would cross that canyon and start back up the other range towards the Los Padres National Forest. So our goal at this point is to keep it west of Tempest-Gay Canyon. To do that, we have air resources on the fire, as always, and just an incredible amount of firefighters from all over the state of California in that area working to protect those homes and keep it on the west side of that canyon.
Can you talk about the unified command? Because there are now several fires burning, within 60 miles of each other or so. And just how many firefighters from different places are having to come in and help out with Santa Barbara County, San Luis Obispo County, CAL FIRE? Where are you pulling people from?
So for the Alamo fire, we do have a three-way unified command with CAL FIRE, the U.S. National Forest Service, and Santa Barbara County Fire. I've seen firefighters from as far south as San Diego and as far north as Sacramento on this fire, and everywhere in between. I don't know specifically which departments are represented, but I think it's fairly safe to say we've got somebody from just about every department in between there on this fire.
Okay, and we've reported earlier that at least 200 residents have been evacuated. Is that still the same number?
Yeah, they're still in the Tempeski Canyon and Blazing Saddles areas. About 200 homes that have been under some sort of evacuation order, whether it was a mandatory or just an advisory. I don't know exactly which homes are under which, but we do still have those in effect.
And Chris, one final thing for us. We've had a lot of people calling into our newsroom asking how they can help firefighters. Is there anything you guys need? Is there things people can drop off at fire stations or Red Cross centers to help out firefighters?
While we sincerely appreciate those offers, we've been getting them at the camp. We are very well staffed here. We're very well supplied. At this point, we don't really need anything, but we are very, very appreciative of the community thinking of us. They can always check with the Red Cross if the Red Cross needs anything. However, I know last night they were saying they had plenty of stuff as well. So at this point, we're doing very, very well as far as supplies go.
All right, that is Chris Elms with CAL FIRE. Chris, thank you so much for joining us. Good luck out there on the Alamo fire. That is now more than 23,000 acres and growing in the northern Santa Barbara County area. Thank you so much. And the evacuations are in effect for the residents near the Alamo fire. We're going to give you this rundown once again. There you see it, Blazing Saddles, Pine Canyon, Buckhorn Ridge, Tipescay to Santa Maria Mesa Road. All of these people should be out already. Also, Colson and White Rock roads. If you live in those areas, if you know of people in those areas, if you have animals out in those areas, you probably should be out already. And if you're not and you're watching this, just be aware that it's still dangerous out there. Volunteers have been providing meals to people at the Red Cross shelter, which is set up near the Twitchell Reservoir, and Enos Drive in Santa Maria as well. So they're providing a place to sleep for those residents who need it. And if you can get out there, if you feel like you just need a place to grab a meal, if you had to be out of your home, they also have toothbrushes and things like that. They can help you out at these Red Cross shelters.
Mandatory evacuation orders are in place for anyone near the Whittier fire. The areas that are under mandatory evacuation do include Highway 154 from Armor Ranch Road on the west to Paradise Road on the east, as well as West Camino Cielo from the Winchester Gun Club east to Highway 154, and anyone on Kinnavan Road. If you are in these areas, you are advised to leave immediately. If you are not in this area, avoid the area and Highway 154 entirely. That's because the 154 is closed from the 246 to Foothill Road.
It is 9:12 on this Sunday morning, a special edition of News Channel 3 fire coverage. We're going to take a live look at the Whittier fire burning off of Highway 154. There you see the campsites near Lake Cachuma. That fire going through there yesterday, 7,800 acres. We'll be right back. An interesting perspective of the Whittier fire. This was taken yesterday. Time-lapse video showing that fire near the 154 in Lake Cachuma as that big plume of smoke goes up into the air yesterday. This is great stuff from Hans Wernerbraun. Thank you so much for sending this in to us in our newsroom. It's a great shot from where he was shooting this video up at Santa Ynez Peak. We showed you a different angle of this with a live camera picture a little while ago. And this is another great time lapse here showing how fast those flames were moving and which direction the wind could be blowing. We see Cachuma in the background there. A great perspective there from one of our viewers.
Okay, 9:16, we're going to turn things over to Kelsey Gerkins in our First Alert Weather Center. And Kelsey, what is it looking like conditions weather-wise for the firefighters out there and the residents, since that wind can move that smoke all over the place and cause a lot of issues if you have respiratory problems or if you're a child?
Yeah, well, we started off this morning with very favorable conditions. Things are starting to change, but it does look like the weather today is going to be much more favorable for fighting this fire compared to what we saw yesterday. Now, the first part of good news I have is we actually got a little bit of rain earlier this morning. Now, if we take a look at the live storm tracker, we had this little blurb of rain that came through the Santa Barbara and Goleta area, and then it also passed through right the region where the Whittier fire is burning. And we had one of our viewers send us in this video, and I want you to take a quick look at this because look how incredible this is. This was taken in Goleta by one of our viewers. And this rain here, I mean, we're talking about real rain. It's not just the little sprinkles. This was a good monsoonal flow that came through our area, bringing us that precipitation. So coming back to the weather center here, that is all great for fighting the Whittier fire. So the current conditions where this fire is burning near Lake Cachuma, we're around 79 degrees, partly cloudy skies. Winds have stayed calm, right around 2 miles per hour. Gusts, the highest clocked 11 miles per hour. Humidity, right now 47%. It is starting to drop compared to what we saw earlier when we had that precipitation, but it's all good news. Now, winds will get this afternoon to around 10 to 20 miles per hour, gusting at 25 miles per hour. Humidity will continue to drop to around 20%, temps climbing into the 90s. Now, the second fire I'm keeping a really close eye on is the Alamo fire. This is burning off of State Route 166 out of the Santa Maria area where it is currently 81 degrees. Winds have stayed calm there as well, only gusting at 11 miles per hour. Humidity, though, very low, already at 22% at this hour. And as we continue throughout the day for the Alamo fire, they're going to have those gusts at 25 miles per hour as well. Their humidity around 10%. Now, temps there climbing to around 100 degrees, making it a very difficult fire to fight. Now, the temps across our entire area, take a look. Santa Ynez at a nice 61 degrees right now. We're keeping a very close eye on Goleta, where it's 73 degrees. Oxnard 74, Ojai 83, San Luis Obispo 62, Paso, where another fire is burning in this area of San Luis Obispo County, currently at 70 degrees. Now, it is warm enough that a heat advisory is still in effect, and it's staying in effect until 11 o'clock tonight. Those temps that we're expecting, again, in the triple digits. This includes all of our mountain areas in the interior valleys. It also includes Solvang and Santa Ynez. The good news is, all weekend before today, we did have the warning in effect. That meant conditions were more severe than they are now. The wind advisory expired. The red flag warning expired. These are all good things because those all meant high fire danger. Wind speeds right now are very calm, and the really good news, Joe and Stacy, the wind gusts are calm as well at this hour. And as we go throughout the day, I've been tracking it. It looks like it's going to stay pretty calm for most spots, except for Paso. They're clocking around 25 miles per hour this afternoon. Back to you.
Thanks so much, Kelsey. The Whittier fire continuing to burn this morning.
News Channel 3 senior reporter John Palmentary been out there all morning long, and he is back at the Whittier fire with the very latest updates along the 154. Good morning, John.
And so we are on Highway 154, which is completely shut off, as you say, from Highway 246 up to Cathedral Oaks or Highway 192. No traffic here except for emergency traffic that is coming through from the fire departments. On the far end, you see the sign that says Camp Whittier, and that's just around the bend from the entrance to Cachuma Lake. And in there was a vehicle fire turned to a vegetation fire, which started all this yesterday afternoon, and temperatures in excess of 95 degrees. Winds were stirred up, humidity levels were low. So as we come over here, this is Cachuma Lake, the eastern side of the campground, and let's peer through the trees here and see some of the tents that are still set up. that were quickly left behind by campers who were evacuating when they were told to get out and get out now. You can see the proximity of the fire. This entire road was engulfed in flames and smoke, and the visibility was very, very limited. Many of these campers went towards Santa Ynez, the other direction, to get out, and not up towards Santa Barbara. And then there were some children that were camping at the Circle V Ranch in Camp Whittier. Some sheltered in place, and then buses came up from the Santa Ynez Band of Chumash Indians to rescue them, get them out, and get them into Santa Ynez to meet up with their parents. No injuries were reported that we know of. Some structures in Camp Whittier were burned up, and we think 3 vehicles now, the one in there and the 2 on the highway, the sheriff's SUV and the civilian vehicle, a total of 3 burned in this fire. We have cool temperatures, as Kelsey was saying, cooler, and mild winds. A good day for firefighting, and the aircraft, we can hear them in the sky right now, are starting what's going to be an aggressive attack. That's the very latest from San Marcos Pass, the point of origin of the Whittier fire. I'm John Parliamentary, News Channel 3.
Thanks very much for being out there for us all morning, John.
All right, stick with us. We will be right back as we leave you with another shot of the Whittier fire from Santa Ynez Peak.
The Red Cross using San Marcos High School and Santa Ynez Elementary Schools as evacuation centers. Our crew was not allowed inside the area for obvious privacy reasons. However, cots were set up, dinner was ordered. There was plenty of food and water for those coming to rest, get out of that smoky air. And there are activities for the children as well.
A lot of times we see these centers and they just don't get used, but this is a case where there are actually people using these centers because they had to get out of their homes. 27 people slept at San Marcos High School last night. There was nobody at Santa Ynez High. Probably a good thing. Very, imagine, smoky in that area. One person was at the Minami Community Center as well in Santa Maria. So we're going to keep on top of this. We'll have another live look when we come back.
All right, quick look at a live picture of the Whittier fire burning near Lake Kachuma. Fire crews battling the blaze that's reached 7,800 acres. That fire 5% contained.
And the Alamo fire, it is burning off Highway 166 near the Twitchell Reservoir. It has burned 23,000 acres, a little more than that. Fire started on Thursday. That blaze 10% contained. Let's get a real quick final look at the weather. Here's Kelsey.
Yeah, I just updated the current conditions. We just had them come into our newsroom. Now 71 degrees at the Whittier fire. That's a little bit cooler than it was when we began this special newscast. Winds staying calm, humidity increasing. That's all good news, but it is expected to change by this afternoon. Back to you.
All right, Kelsey, thank you very much. We're going to leave you with a live look at the Whittier fire. We'll see you back here at 11 a.m. with more on this fire coverage. Have a great day, everybody.